Every single morning, people wake up with ambitions in their hearts. They open their eyes and think about the lives they want to live, the dreams they want to chase, the goals they wish they could reach. It's not your background, your resources, or your circumstances. What separates winners from losers is something far deeper, something internal. It's how they think, how they move, how they react, how they persist. Winners don't depend on how they feel in the moment. They've trained themselves to show up regardless, whether they feel like it or not, whether it's easy or not. They do the work consistently. They follow their systems, not their emotions. They've learned to master the boring, the repetitive, the quiet grind that no one sees. They cut out distractions, drama, and anything that drains their energy. They don't stop when they're tired. They stop when the job is done. They don't complain about the grind. They embrace it. To them, excellence is a habit, not a goal. They're not afraid of hard work because they've trained themselves to enjoy the process. They take pride in the unseen effort. Losers look for shortcuts. They hope for a lucky break. They avoid the extra effort because they see work as punishment, not privilege. But to winners, hard work is a blessing. It's a chance to learn something real, something lasting, something they can be proud of. They protect their space like it's sacred. Because it is, your environment shapes your behavior. Your conversation shape your mindset. Losers often keep low-energy people around because it's comfortable. They avoid being challenged. They avoid accountability. But winners lean into challenge. They want to be pushed. They want to be reminded of their standards. They choose peers who aim higher. And as a result, their momentum grows. Energy is contagious, and winners know how to protect theirs and fuel it by choosing the right circle. Losers are often looking for excitement, something new, something fast. They chase dopamine. They chase comfort. And when it's no longer fun, they stop. Winners understand that success lives in the mundane. It lives in the extra reps, the late nights, the early mornings, and the choices no one will ever applaud. They aren't romantic about the process. They just do it day in, day out. It's in their mindset, their habits, and their grit. Winners are not born different. They're built different. Winners use failure as fuel. They study it, they learn from it, they adapt for them. A setback isn't a signal to quit, it's a signal to grow. Failure doesn't define them. It refines them. They have no fear of looking bad, no fear of making mistakes. They know that the path to mastery is paved with errors and corrections. Losers, on the other hand, let failure crush them. They take it personally. They internalize it as a reflection of their worth. They become paralyzed by the fear of falling. Short and so, they never take the risk again. Winners see risk as necessary. They see effort as non-negotiable. They know that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. And that difference is visible in everything they do, from the moment they wake up to the way they handle failure, to how they carry themselves when no one's watching. They are never satisfied with yesterday's achievements because they know they're capable of more. They read, they listen, they train, they reflect, they ask questions, they seek feedback, they confront weaknesses, they welcome discomfort because they know that's where the edge is. They don't fear change, they crave it. Losers, on the other hand, want to feel smart rather than be smart. They want praise over progress. They plateau early because they stop learning. They convince themselves they've done enough. But winners know there is no finish line. Growth is not a phase. It's a lifestyle. They measure their lives not by how far they've come, but by how much more they can become. Winners operate on another level, not because they're lucky, but because they've made different decisions, taken different actions, and developed different standards. But as the day unfolds, most of them get pulled back into the same routines, the same distractions, the same excuses. They don't wait for results to feel worthy. They build their self-image on discipline, commitment, and integrity. Losers often need external validation. They need applause, attention, and affirmation before they believe in themselves. But winners create certainty from within. They don't wait for confidence. They build it. They speak differently. They move with purpose. Every action they take reinforces the identity they've chosen. Someone who wins, someone who grows, someone who doesn't quit. This identity becomes the foundation for everything else. It's what pushes them forward when things get hard, and it's what pulls them back on track when they drift. They talk about change. They fantasize about success, but very few actually move the needle, and even fewer cross the finish line. The world is filled with dreamers, but only a handful become doers. Why is that? Why do some people climb while others stay stuck at the base? Why do a select few become leaders, champions, and creators of legacy while the rest fade into the background, forgotten by time and buried by regret? It's not intelligence. It's not talent. It's not where you were born or what school you went to. It starts with identity. A winner doesn't just perform like a champion. They see themselves as one long before the trophies come. Motivation may get you started, but it's discipline that keeps you going. What happens when things go wrong? When the plan doesn't work? When they fail? Winners are growth-obsessed. They are always evolving, always learning. Who you surround yourself with matters. Winners are intentional about their environment. They build relationships that elevate them. Work ethic separates the good from the great. Winners don't just work hard, they work smart. They work long, and they work with intent. Winners think long-term. They don't get discouraged when success doesn't come overnight. They play the long game. They understand that real impact takes time. They are patient with the process but urgent with their actions. They know what they're working toward, and they remind themselves of it constantly. Their vision pulls them through pain, boredom, fear, and doubt. They're not just chasing goals, they're chasing meaning. It's found in their choices, in their mindset, in their ability to take consistent action when no one is clapping. Discipline over excuses. Purpose over pleasure. You can become the kind of person who looks back one day and says, I earned this, in their ability to believe when nothing seems to be working, in their ability to keep going when everything inside them says stop. Being built different is not about being gifted. It's about being relentless. You don't need to be born with it. You can build it brick by brick, day by day. You can decide that from this moment on, you will think like a winner, move like a winner, and live like one. Purpose makes hard things worth it. Losers often drift without direction. They follow trends. They copy others. They lack clarity. And without clarity, they burn out or give up. One that says, I refuse to be average. I refuse to live small. I refuse to settle. But winners have direction. They wake up with intent. They walk with vision. They act with alignment. Every decision, every habit, every priority is shaped by their purpose, and that clarity gives them power. They're not chasing quick wins, they're building something that will stand the test of time. Losers, however, are impatient. They want results now. They give up if it takes too long. They quit when they don't see immediate progress. But winners trust the process. They know that as long as they keep showing up, the results will come. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. Because the seeds they plant daily will one day grow into something powerful. Purpose drives. Performance. Winners know their why. Emotions can be a powerful tool or a destructive enemy. Winners don't ignore their emotions, but they don't let emotions control their actions. They hold themselves to levels others aren't willing to reach. It's not about being perfect, it's about refusing to settle. They take pride in their character, their discipline, and their effort. They don't cut corners, even when no one's watching. They don't lower their standards to fit in. They raise their actions to stand out. Losers often live by the minimum. They do just enough to get by. They coast. They hide. They hope no one notices their lack of effort. But winners live by maximum effort. They demand more from themselves than anyone else could, and that standard becomes their reputation, their legacy. They learn to pause, to breathe, to choose. They respond to life instead of reacting to it. They remain grounded when things get chaotic, calm under pressure, focused under fire. They don't let temporary feelings destroy permanent goals. Losers, on the other hand, are emotionally impulsive. They let their mood dictate their movement. They let fear stop them, anger distract them, doubt derail them. But winners learn emotional control. They build mental armor, and that gives them an edge most never develop. At the core of it all, winners operate from a higher standard in the end. The difference between winners and losers isn't found in their circumstances. You can train your mind to expect more. You can raise your standards, shape your identity, and take ownership of your path. You can choose growth over comfort. The difference is real. The gap is wide, but it's not impossible to cross. It starts with a decision. You are meant for more. And deep down, you know it does, so rise. Start now. Build the mindset. Build the habits. Build the life. Because once you decide, truly decide, there's no turning back. You'll never see yourself the same again, and neither will the world. You're not like the rest. You're built different.